Hello and welcome to Dallas Famous Xtras. Today we're diving into the details of this Saturday's Deep Ellum block party with the always insightful Gavin Mulloy. This inaugural community celebration promises to be an unforgettable day, headlined by legendary Wu-Tang Clan member Raekwon, backed by local favorites Branoofunck, and the iconic Polyphonic Spree. Starting with free outdoor performances, the party evolves into a $5 wristband extravaganza, granting access to some of Deep Ellum's best venues like Trees, Club Dada, Three Links, and more. With an eclectic lineup spanning genres from rock and hip-hop to soul and metal, there's something for everyone. Stick around as Gavin shares everything you need to know about this unmissable event. Hey there, we're sitting here with Gavin Mulloy. He is I don't even know what your job is. What is your job?
I don't really have a job anymore. I'm just a creature who lurks around. But I'm in this instance, I'm helping with the Deep Ellum block party. I'm doing the booking and the promotions for that a little bit.
And that's what, the first one?
This is the first one. Okay. So I guess last year they did a Deep Ellum music festival, and then they did a Juneteenth celebration, and then out of that, then they've pivoted into this Deep Ellum block party, which ideally continues on yearly, is trying to be an annual thing. So this is the first one, and we'll see how this goes. And then, obviously, that'll dictate changes and pivots. But I'm really excited. It's November 23rd, Saturday. It starts at noon on Elm Street and Main Street. I mean, it's really throughout the whole neighborhood. So
and so there's how many outdoor stages? Just one?
There's just actually, there's one outdoor stage that we are putting up. So we're putting up a main stage at Elm and Crowdis. And that'll be facing down Elm. Elm will be blocked off from Good Latimer all the way down to Malcolm X the whole day. But we'll have a stage at Crowdis and Elm facing down towards Good Latimer. And that'll be our headliner stage that has the Polyphonic Spree, Raekwon from Wu-Tang Clan, Branoofunck. We Them Grays opening with the Disney set for all the families out there that haven't seen this. It's amazing. It's literally one of my favorite shows.
Very nice.
And then I've got some surprises that'll pop out on that main stage, so I would definitely be there. We're gonna do some fun stuff.
Okay, and then I saw the headlining act goes on like kind of early for a show, right? Like,
yeah. So and I'm glad that it's really hard to communicate this idea through marketing, and that's coming from the marketing person. So really, so what the daytime thing is like an outdoor activation, and then the nighttime there's an activation all over the Elm Street, and then bleeding into Main and some other areas. But we have 7 venues now, possibly up to 9, where it's one bracelet's $5, and then you can go into any of the clubs. Obviously, capacity pending. I'm anticipating a couple of these rooms being full all night. But kind of like the Dallas Observer Music Awards for people that were back there then. I think that was, I don't even remember if that was paid or free, because I kind of worked it the whole time, but similar to that. So we'll have 50 bands playing all over the neighborhood for $5 at night, and Club Dada, Trees, Three Links, Twilight, Armory, Cheapsteaks, Reno's, Elm Street Saloon, Ruins, hopefully, I don't know, Texas Tea Room. Hopefully they're open tonight when we're recording this, so I'll pop by there. We might be able to get them in. But I think it's just going to be a really cool thing for the neighborhood. It's got a lot of the best bands that are in Dallas, best musicians. It doesn't have all of them, because one thing I was lucky enough to do, and going back through and just like trying to help put together this lineup, is there's so much stuff. There's so many talented people in Dallas. Yeah. You couldn't even have them all play on one night if you wanted to. But it also got me really excited is, I did, even if I wanted to, I couldn't shoot my wad the first year.
Right.
Like there's so many people, first of all, that were on tour. There's local musicians from here that are out doing things, and then just, some people weren't available and things like that. And then some people, I didn't even reach out to them because they didn't have enough money for them,
Right,
so
right.
That is, I don't want to ever say like this is the best collection of Dallas musicians, because I think those things ebb and flow, but I do think this is a very stellar representation of what we've got going on right now, a little bit musically throughout the night.
Absolutely. It's cool. It was just, like, do you know how this idea came about? It was just kind of like trying to have something to replace the thing they did last time, or or just like a new...
Yeah, I think the music festival went pretty well last year. So it seemed like an obvious continuation on that. I do think there's a lot of discussions we can get into about Deep Ellum and things like that, but I do think the neighborhood having an event that is a staple one is something needed. They've got staple events like the Invasion Car Show is one of them. The art fair is the other, another one. We have the Deep Ellum Outdoor Market every week, but kind of having a music-oriented event. And then also, Damani Daniels, who's one of the board members with Def, pointed something out that I hadn't even thought of, is Dallas doesn't really have a music festival anymore.
Not at all.
As one of the founding members of Homegrown, I didn't even, I've always been very behind our ability to create something like that, and I've seen them, come and go. So this maybe is an opportunity to kind of create something like that. I don't know that it's on the level of like, say, an ACL or anything ever, but you got to start somewhere. And I think that having a mix of local artists with national, regional artists is really good. And I think actually, if you take all of the artists performing this year, they all live here, even Raekwon. So like they're all local, really.
That's very
I'm
cool.
stretching that Wu-Tang Clan, but hey, I'll stretch it all.
He's living here now.
Yeehaw, Wu-Tang. There we go.
Right. Anyway, that's cool. And then like I'm guessing like all genres of bands, like there's like anything goes. Like,
no, there's actually I didn't have unfortunately. And I tried. There's a couple genres completely missing from this.
Okay.
There's like DJ oriented drum and bass, things like that. I just didn't have a place to put them right now, and that's a lot of this is going to be my fault. Anything that went wrong, please blame me. But
you got Branoofunck though, so that kind of
yeah. And I'm more talking about dance. That like type of EDM, things like that. Definitely didn't.
Isn't this going to end before that party usually starts at the end of night?
No, this will go from, so all the venues that I mentioned earlier will be from 7 till question marks, really. Definitely midnight everywhere will have live music on, but a lot of them will go later than that. But I didn't really get any country, and the first band I ever managed was a country band, so I have a soft spot for that. But kind of like I said to earlier, where we can't get all of the bands in, it's hard to get all the genres in. And with this being a first time thing, we didn't even get all the venues that we wanted to be in on this. So that's something, hopefully that grows next year, and then we have more room to do things like that. Those aren't the only genres I missed. I just, off the top of my head, those seem to be hey, we didn't do EDM or country. Those are kind of large.
Yeah, I feel like they have their own festivals, though. Maybe not in Dallas.
They totally do. I was just talking about the representation of local artists on that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's cool. I like that there's a mix of national and local, and it's like $5 is nothing, and it's free during the day. So, come on down to this Saturday.
It'll be Saturday, November 23rd. We're gonna have at noon there's a yoga event right up front of the main stage. Also, there's a spelling bee. The Deep Ellum spelling bee is coming back for this, which is a 21 and up spelling bee with challenges. So it's got a little twist on it. If you've never been, it's really fun. That's at 3 Links at noon. Then we kind of pivot into, we've got some activation areas. We've got a Latin Quarter down by Salsera and 3 Links that will have like folklorico dancers and mariachis and entertainment down the street there, along with bands throughout the night at Cheapsteaks. And then down next to Elm Street Saloon. Elm Street Saloon is actually one of the cooler things that I haven't really told anybody about yet, which is probably a bad thing from a marketing perspective. But I think there'll be enough people down here anyway. Elm Street Saloon is going to host a lyricist lounge that night, so it will be 10 plus MCs popping up in there, and a lot of these people I've never worked with before, or I haven't seen them a whole lot on the stage in Deep Ellum, so I think that's going to be really something that would be cool, and I really want to grow that for next year. I think it's there was 2 things I noticed when I was looking for bands on this, is that there's a ton of female singer-songwriters out there that are just amazing, that really need an opportunity to shine, and I'm kind of working on that for this year, but I don't want to promise anything yet. Okay. And then also there's just a bunch of MCs that need a spotlight a little bit, and In both cases, it seems to be, a lot of individuals that are by themselves, and whether they have a backing band, have a DJ, whatnot. I just think that, there is the opportunity to highlight those both individual things and kind of raise them up a little bit. So cool. We'll have that. That goes till about 5. And then we'll have a dunk tank in the beer garden over at Trees. I might get in there, but if you want to get dunked, please sign up. We're going to have the River City Honeybusters running the dunk tank over there. And there's a bunch of cool little things. Moses is doing a hip hop and hoops activation in the lounge next to Elm Street Saloon, which they'll have a Mavs Papa shot out there. We've got Joel Salazar, DJ Leo J doing. He's got break dancers, and he'll be DJing over there. So we've got some cool stuff in store for you. The main stage is 3 to 7 p.m. If you want to see Raekwon, I would get out there at 4. He'll be playing a full set backed by Branoofunck. And then the Polyphonic Spree, obviously the headliners are on at 6. But get out there at 3 if you want to bring the kiddos and see We Them Grays do their full Disney set.
Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Hey, Gavin, thanks again, and we're very much looking forward to this.
Awesome, and I'll get back in here sometime and chat with you for
Season
sure.
4. Yeah. Hear more from Gavin. Thanks again.
All right.
This week in our call-in section, we've got Ian Saint. A young Ian has a story about bumping into Vinnie Paul at Reno's Chop Shop. Here it is.
You just never know who you're going to encounter in Deep Ellum. One of my first times going out here, I went to see Sepultura at Trees, and I remember they did a brief breakdown of Walk by Pantera, and I wasn't quite sure of why. Afterwards, we go to Reno's Chop Shop, just down the alley. We're sitting at the bar, and in walks Vinnie Paul. By himself, no entourage, just wandered in. I was just out of school and so flabbergasted, my friend David asked Vinnie if I could take a picture with him, and he politely obliged. I asked if I could buy him a Black Tooth Grin, which is the whiskey shot that Vinny and his brother Dimebag came up with, and he goes, "Nah, these days I just stick to vodka."
It's true, you never know who you're going to bump into in Deep Ellum. Here's a fun little story from Greg Gunther, who remembers a quirky habit Larry Hagman had at parties. Let's listen.
Years ago in the 80s, I worked for the former society editor of the Dallas Times Herald. When the newspaper closed, she started her own magazine. And I was covering a party, and Larry and my Hagman were there. And Larry Hagman was always so funny to be around in JR mode. But also, Larry Hagman was an avid anti-smoker. And at that time, people smoked at parties. Lots of people smoked. But Mr. Hagman always carried around a little fan. And if you got near him with a cigarette, he would blow that fan right in your face. I always thought this was funny.
Thanks for sharing these stories, Dallas Famous run-ins. If you have a Dallas Famous moment, please record a voice memo and send it to dallasfamouspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. We've got the regularly scheduled episode coming out on Sunday at 1 o'clock, and we will see you next time. Get your own Dallas Famous Podcast t-shirt. The link is now available in the show notes. Thank you again to the Deep Ellum Community Center for letting us record there. Theme song, Unstoppable by Salim Nuralla. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, follow, all the good stuff, and share it with your friends. We'll see you next time.